let's see who the next team here. We saw Jason Falcone and Mike Cruz win that opening one in the Vintage Wrestling Gold Rush Tournament. Once again, Blake Chadwick alongside the general manager of Vintage All-Star Wrestling, Big Pete Cannon here, joining me for all the action tonight. And all the titles are on the line. Let's see who participant one of this next team is, and here comes John Davis. And Davis is accompanied by Shane Doe. Davis, of course, weighing 225 pounds, hailing from the Dark City, a former tag team champion all over the world with another man on the Vintage All-Star roster in the form of Corey Chavis. So John Davis, a guy that certainly knows how to compete in tag team competition, very well could give him an opening in this contest. John Davis' opponent here, wait a second, there's Barrington Hughes, and there's BJ Murdoch. People were talking about them being entrants in here. Once again, part of your tag team initiative here at Vintage, as the Power coming all the way from Miami, Florida out here. But I want to know why they're both out. As the Big Crush, Barrington Hughes officially named the partner of John Davis, but I want to know what BJ Murdoch's doing out here.
Yeah, that's a good question. This is a tag team match that he's not involved in.
And from what I understand, BJ Murdoch does not have his managerial's license, so he's not going to be able to stay out here for the duration of the contest. He is a participant in this tournament, but his name is yet to be called. And if you take a look at ring announcer Sean LaFlash, he's not exactly sure what's going on. Wait a second. As classy BJ Murdoch there. Looks like
the Power's going to be on opposite sides.
And it looks like he's going to be a participant on team number 2. But if you hear the music, it's Super Grover. And Super Grover, he's coming out with Mikey. So the Buddy System and the Power, two teams that have certainly made a name for themselves over the last couple of months here in Vintage All-Star Wrestling. You got to think that Mikey, I thought Mikey would stay out here, but Mikey's going to the back. Might be nap time for Mikey. As Super Grover now, looks like he's going to be on the team of BJ Murdoch. While Barrington Hughes and John Davis are on the other side, it looks like neither of these two teams are going to be able to coexist here.
All right, I'm excited. I don't care. I got it.
So referee Dan Kriegbaum decided this contest. And you got to wonder how BJ Murdoch and Barrington Hughes are going to be able to be on opposite sides. And Pete, I have to imagine when you were coming up with the Gold Rush tournament, this is one of the scenarios that you certainly thought could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to stir things up. We're going to have some interesting matches. We're going to have things stale. We're going to mix it up and see what happens. This is going to be a crazy night that I'm sure none of us are going to forget.
And once again, the Internet TV title hangs in the balance at the remainder of this tournament. The Vintage Tag Team titles are on the line, BeastMode and South Florida's finest. And of course, in the main event, Jessy Sorensen challenging Milo Beasley for the Vintage Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Bell sounds, this one's underway. John Davis and one half of the Power in Big Barrington Hughes taking on classy BJ Murdoch and one half of the Buddy System in Super Grover. So the tag team scene exploding here in Vintage Wrestling as these two men hook it up in excess of 500 pounds in the ring right now. As BJ Murdoch's going to back John Davis into the corner. Referee calling for the break. And Murdoch going to slap him there. That's certainly not going to leave a good taste in Davis's mouth. I think that's far from classy from BJ Murdoch. And Murdoch shoving Davis. Remember, Davis, a good 2 1/4. Murdoch, who's lost nearly 100 pounds over the last year or two, still in excess of 250 pounds. As John Davis pops him with a couple forearm shivers there. Is this one getting physical in a hurry? Davis off the ropes, and he's going to ground him with a forearm. And John Davis here exploding on classy BJ Murdoch. He's going to send him for a ride. Davis looks like he was going for the back body drop, and Murdoch kicks him square in the teeth. Davis picks him up. Oh, and he dumps him on the back of his neck with the big back suplex there. Thought he was maybe setting him up for 3 seconds around the world, how John Davis normally likes to finish off his opponents. But Murdoch there in a showing of frustration is going to tag in Super Grover. And now you're going to see a large contrast in styles here. And just like that, Barrington Hughes shouting at John Davis. He wants in the match. Super Grover pointing at Big Barrington. And if Barrington Hughes gets in there with Super Grover, we could be looking at a 200 to 300 plus pound weight advantage for Big Barrington Hughes. As Super Grover here trying to psych himself up. Normally this is a situation he'd want to tag in Mikey. But Mikey, of course, yet to have his name called in this Gold Rush tournament. And Barrington ducking underneath. And Grover there might have bit off more than he can chew, just gets shoved to the ground. And he tries the flying body attack, but Barrington Hughes there barely phased. And Hughes just shoves him down again. Look at that big power and strength from the big 350 plus pounder. And wait a second. Grover makes the tag in a classy BJ Murdoch. So BJ Murdoch, Barrington Hughes in the match. The power getting ready to explode here at Vintage's Gold Rush.
Come on.
As Murdoch there extends his hand for the handshake. These two obviously driving all the way from South Florida up to the building here tonight. They shake hands, and just like that, John Davis back in there with BJ Murdoch. And this one's going to come to a head very quickly. As John Davis now methodically getting into the ring, having some words with his tag team partner. And you got to think here, whichever team wins are going to immediately become opponents when we get into the Battle Royal just a little bit later on. So this is literally just a very brief, very temporary partnership for either side, as this one's going to break down any second here between these two behemoths. As you see, two of the biggest all-stars in all of vintage wrestling going tooth and nail. Davis stunning Murdoch a little bit, and Murdoch beats him with a back elbow right into the ropes. And he goes off the ropes, and he stuns him again. Murdoch here trying to get an advantage, and he walks right into the spine buster. And John Davis absolutely plants BJ Murdoch, nearly sending him back down to Miami here, as the power not having their way. But look at BJ Murdoch, fireman's carry position. Oh, and look at that roll. Just goes with them. Impressive move there by Murdoch. And there's the tag into Grover. Oh, he's going to go for the right hand. Grover fires up with the step up enziguri. This team's breaking apart. And it looks like blood's thicker than water here as Barrington Hughes is coming in to protect his normal tag team partner. So the Gold Rush tournament here completely breaking down. As Grover now, and he's going to walk right into the double choke bomb from Barrington Hughes. Hughes rolls him over right into John Davis, and Davis into the release German suplex. And now Barrington Hughes and John Davis are in charge, as BJ Murdoch trying to get back to his feet on the outside. As Davis and Murdoch, or excuse me, Davis and Hughes now arguing. Oh, and Hughes drops the big elbow. It's got to be academic from here. He's not the legal man, though. And John Davis goes over. He's going to hook the leg. 2 and 3. And just like that, John Davis and Barrington Hughes are moving on to the Battle Royal. But Pete, I have to believe when the Battle Royal begins, these two's feud is going to heat up.
Yeah, I'm going to want to see these two square off. This is going to be good.
Now the real question is, with Barrington Hughes advancing, can Barrington Hughes ascend that ladder all the way up to the top and grab that Internet TV title? That's certainly something to keep an eye on. But right now, Mike Cruz, Jason Falcone, and now John Davis and Barrington Hughes, one half of the field is set for the Battle Royal for the Internet TV title.
Still being on his feet, he deserves a round of applause, guys. Get up.